Welcome back. Before I get into the juicy topic of whether you should be taking creatine, I just wanted to remind you that in a few weeks, I will be opening up a Strength and Introduction to Plyometrics 8-week program. It's for a small group of people because that's all I have enough time for. And it will be for people who have never done plyometrics, or maybe you've done plyometrics and agility back when you were in high school or college, so more than 20 years ago, and you miss having that in your life. So it's been a long time since you've done it. This program is launching in a few weeks, and I'm going to have a wait list going so I can email everybody with all the details. So I'll put that at the top of the show notes, a link to join the wait list, and I'll be emailing you. Now, on to today's juicy topic, or is it juicy, about creatine. Last week, I had a member in one of my classes send me a text message. She wrote, "I forgot to ask you about creatine. All BS?" If you are part of our Sunday Strong weekly newsletter, maybe a month or so, a couple months ago, Coach Michelle, that's my business partner, wrote an email, a post in it about the benefits of creatine for women. Note that it is one of the most researched supplements of all the supplements, and it is fully accepted that it is scientifically research proven to be a helpful supplement for both men and women. But today, when I'm talking about creatine, instead of talking about whether you should be taking it, my reply to you is, are you taking care of the important health actions before even thinking about creatine? Because creatine only helps if you're prioritizing the things that I'm about to talk about. So let's start first with the definition of the word supplement, because that's what creatine is, and vitamins and all that other stuff. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines the word supplement as a noun, something that completes or makes an addition. So I want to remind you that creatine is a supplement. Creatine completes or makes an addition to your health choices and activities. Whatever you do or eat for health will be supplemented by creatine, not replaced. So instead of asking, oh my gosh, should I be taking creatine? This is what I would ask my clients to prioritize in the order of importance. There's 4 items. 1, do you walk every day? Are you getting a minimum of 4,000 steps a day for at least a year? Now, you hear a lot about, people should be getting 7,000 steps for it to be helpful for your heart, to make a difference in your longevity, or 10,000 steps. I picked the number 4,000 because that is the average amount of steps that an American takes. So are you hitting even that base minimum of what the average American takes, which is 4,000 steps? You have to remember that movement has much more benefit to your health than taking any supplement. 2, are you sleeping a minimum of 6 hours or more? Of course, 7 to 8 hours is ideal, but I also realistically know if you have a young family, if you've got certain career demands that many people don't get 7 to 8 hours. But I think 6 is a really strong base minimum. Are you getting at least 6 hours of sleep a night regularly for at least a year? When I say average, I mean, of course, some nights might be a little longer, some a little shorter, but on average, you're getting about 6. Because what I think a lot of us forget, and I know I certainly did when I was in my 20s and even my 30s, sleep affects every aspect of our health and muscle growth. Creatine cannot replace the vast recovery benefits of sleep. On to number 3. Are you strength training at least twice a week consistently for at least 6 months? Creatine is supportive to building muscle, It won't build the muscle if we're not actually building the muscles. And 4, the last one of my 4 priority essentials. Have you been eating meals where you include protein in every single meal for at least 6 months? Creatine will not replace the lack of protein in our diets. So before supplementing our health with dietary supplements, which is something like creatine or vitamins, I would tell my clients to do this first. It's the 4 things I just asked you about in the order of importance. 1, walk daily. I want you to have a daily average of 4,000 steps. Most phones actually track it for you. It will average it. It'll show you your weekly average, your monthly average, and your annual average. I want that base minimum hit for at least a year. 2, you're sleeping no less than 6 hours a night on average for at least a year. That means you have to be dialed in on your sleep. Naturally, I prefer 7 to 8 hours for you, but I also realize it's just life. 3, specifically on protein, are you including 90 to 100 grams of protein each day on average for at least 6 months? And to give you an idea, because it can be very esoteric, the number of grams, a cup of chickpeas is about 15 grams. A chicken breast is about 30 grams. It is not easy getting in 90 to 100 grams of protein. And the minimum amount you might read online might be less, but if you're lifting weights, you're going to need more protein. That's because you're lifting weights to build muscle, and muscle needs protein because there are essential amino acids in protein that our bodies do not make. So we need to get it from our diet. And the last item, which relates to the protein, strength training at least twice a week, consistently for at least 6 months. Those are the 4 health habits that are more important for you to think about and me to think about before adding creatine as a supplement. I'm going to put in the show notes Coach Michelle's full post about the benefits of creatine, because there are legitimate benefits of creatine, but you need to focus on those 4 things I mentioned, because it's like, oh, perfect example would be me. It's like me deciding that I want to start cooking, but instead of learning how to cook and practicing, focusing on, do I need to buy Himalayan salt or should I buy Zanzibar salt? So it's like trying to focus on the side details that don't matter if I don't even know how to cook. And for full disclosure, in terms of creatine for me, I do take creatine. I also strength train 4 times a week at least, and have been for over 10 years. I walk about 8 to 10,000 steps a day, and I've been doing that for probably for a long time, but I've been keeping track of it over the past 6 years. I focus on prioritizing protein in every single one of my meals. I on average, get probably about 90 grams of protein a day. I always have chicken or something, some sort of lean meat in my salads. I always have meat during dinner. You don't have to have meat, but you need to figure out the amount of protein you're taking in a day. I sleep on average pre-perimenopause about 7 hours a night, and now post-menopause about 7 hours a night. The worst times for my sleep was during perimenopause, but I was very focused on getting my sleep back because it is very precious. I realize how it helps everything from your brain health to your muscular health to your heart health, everything. So those are my thoughts, or my expert thoughts on creatine. I would be so grateful if you left a review for the podcast, or your thoughts or anything that you might want me to talk about more. Oh, specifically, leave me a review. It's so helpful. And I look forward to talking to you next week. I will be having a special guest talking about plyometrics. It's Matt McInnes-Watson. And I look forward to you hearing that episode when it releases. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
I'm Coach Tina. For more information about how to work with me, head to ironstrongfitness.com and send me a message. I'll see you next time.